Hello and welcome to Freedom of Speechless. I am Katie Custer and I am the owner and a practitioner here at Mind Over Body, mobstrong.com.
And I am Melody Rabora, the president of nonprofit organization Angelo's Angels for Communication Foundation. And you can find us at angelosangels.com.
Awesome. So excited to be here. We are going to readdress loops and stimming. We're going to try to do it through some stories. We're going to try to talk a little louder today because we got a lot of rain here. We'll start by number one, just because I specified an area that we're in, right, with lots of rain. Let's specify what month it is.
Autism Awareness Month.
Yay! We have to celebrate,
Yes, absolutely.
celebrate all of the breakthroughs and things that we're getting with autism right now and the attention that we're getting with autism. So, I mean, already President Trump named it out a few times. And to us, that's exciting because we need to bring that awareness. So
100%.
Let's use April as that month to bring that awareness, share our podcast, subscribe, like it, all that fun stuff. So today we're going to talk about the topic of how can we help break loops and manage stimming and why is it important? So Mel, as a mom, give me one reason that is important and make it heartfelt. Like something that most people won't say. Yeah.
I mean, your children want to engage in intentional, purposeful tasks, movement, life. Loops are just impeding that. They're not able to do that. So to be able to break that loop and replace it with something more meaningful, gives your child more quality of life and makes them have more gratitude in their heart towards you that you're trying to do that for them.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. I love it. Comment from Josh, one of our speaking individuals that communicate on a letterboard, which is what we do here at Mind Over Body. And I asked him, how do you like our podcast? He said, I love that you feature our letters, making a platform for pouring out truth. So just trying to get the truth out there on how to handle these things, what these things are, presuming competence through seeing these things.
100%.
That's huge.
And one of the first things Angelo told me when he started spelling openly on a letterboard, and the reason why Mind Over Body is named Mind Over Body is because he said, I really wish that people could see what's in my mind over what's happening with my body.
Yeah, that's it's big,
Yeah.
So last week I gave a call to action. I don't know if you did this personally. I actually did. I said I wanted everybody to kind of see if they found themselves in a habit or a loop or a stimulation of their own. Mine was when I'm on my computer, my hand is constantly touching my face. That has got to stop because of what my face looks like, not to bring more attention to it. But so there we go. Just something that I kind of pulled up for myself. What about you? Anything?
I serve tables. I work in catering on my side job. And I noticed that every time somebody would say thank you to me or would, hand me one of their plates or whatever, I'd be like, 100%, 100%. I'm like, why am I saying that? What is 100%? I'm like, stop saying it. Stop saying it.
It's awesome.
And then I went to my bartender and I was laughing and I'm like, do you constantly say fantastic? He's like, I can't stop. I can't. Fantastic.
Oh my gosh.
I'd like a gin and tonic. Fantastic. I'm just like, oh my God, we can't stop ourselves.
I love it. I absolutely love it. I hope that last week brought more laughter like that to us by just helping us kind of get into that
100%.
mode.
100%.
Oh, here we go. Comment below how many times. And you guys comment with one of those 100% little emojis. Yeah, come on. How many can we get?
Right.
How many times can you stop yourself?
Fantastic.
Right? Fantastic. Wonderful. I love it. So just to kind of give a very quick overview, I'd love you to go back, watch part 1 of this sequencing for getting rid of cycles or loops. Actually just, handling those things of loops and simulations. Watch last week's podcast. So that would be episode 3. And what we talked about, I'm going to go through real quick. Definitions, loops, repetitive thoughts or behaviors that can be difficult to shift away from, starting a thought, ending up at the same thought, just right in that circle. Stimulation, self-stimulatory behaviors like racking, flapping hands, repeating sounds, phrases, movies, things like that. That's a comfort zone that they're bringing in, kind of like biting your nails. Functions of these behaviors: coping with sensory overload or understimulation. So overstimulation, understimulation. Managing anxiety environments or emotions. And lastly, providing predictability and comfort in sometimes the overwhelming world. So those are some of the things that we talked about last week. Now let's get to this week. So we were talking about breaking loops, the strategies and techniques. And I want to just kind of go through some stories. So tell me some stories about Angelo or maybe some of his friends, because I know you have a really nice, tight group of open communication and open, communicators. So tell me, talk.
The one thing that I'm going to go into, I think, a little bit of like how we as parents can feed into that loop or create a loop, and then how our children sometimes follow suit. And then vice versa, how they kind of get into that. And then how do you
talk louder there? Because we put this on the wrong side. Just jump in and keep going. Sorry. I'm seeing you turn your head and we're not going to hear you. Go for it.
So I think that for such a very long time, I would be like, all right, Ange, come on. And nothing's happening, right? Like, come on, we're going, let's go, rifle off 100 things that needs to happen. And then when I really kind of shifted and started to be able to, coach him, like, Angelo, turn around, bend down, grab your shoes, let's go. Okay. So those are building purposeful skills. You're coaching their motor system. Okay. So you're breaking that loop that I was creating. Go, come on. And he's like, come on, where we go? Where? What do you want me to do? Right. Okay.
Yeah.
But if it's time to leave, if it's time, I'm like, come on, Kate, let's go. Kate's going to automatically kind of know, okay, let me grab my coat, But Angelo and individuals like Angelo need that breakdown.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. On the other side of things, Angelo will tell you, juice, please. And juice, please means I want to be left alone. So go get me some juice. It doesn't mean I want juice. Yeah. Okay. Uh-huh. Juice, please could mean I'm thirsty. 100%. 100%. Juice, please could be like, I don't want to be doing this right now. Right. So now for 15 years, every time he said juice, please, I'm grabbing him a juice. So now, juice. He looks like Katie holding the Stanley Cup, drinking juice all day. But there ain't juice in there for you.
This is coffee. Is this a Oh my gosh.
It's a loop.
It is.
Those are loops, right? Those are loops. Stimming for Angelo has really changed and evolved over time. When he was younger, he did a lot of hopping, jumping, flapping. Now the only time I really see him do that is if he is really anxious or extremely, extremely excited. Because as your body gets bigger and gets, more developed, so does your brain. And so the way that his brain and body need to cope is different than when he was 7 and 9 and 10. He's 19 now.
But you're talking stimming. Go back to looping.
Okay.
Go back to looping. So give us some more examples, because people are really, I think, they're fighting with how much should we give? How much should we
100%.
allow? That kind of thing. Go. 100?
I can't stop.
Oh, Lord.
I can't stop.
Well, I hang out with her a lot because I don't notice it.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, Lord. So, yes, give us another example. Give us another loop. Identify with some of these parents out there right now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I was talking to Katie before we hopped on here, and I said, a lot of times it's like their way of controlling a situation. And sometimes as parents, we want to control the situation and control or stop or eliminate embarrassing behaviors that our child might engage in public. And now you have developed like, okay, I don't know. The only way my child can enter this room is if they have this particular little fidget or crackers or whatever. That's it. That's the only way that they can, and we can only do it this way because they're going to melt down and we're going to have a problem. So sometimes breaking that is really difficult. Yeah. Because you're going to see behaviors that might trigger a trauma response in a parent. maybe even more so than in the individual.
Truth.
And dealing with that is more scary for the parent, I think, than the individual, because I think that those individuals like Angelo know if I can get put in these situations and get to the other side of it, I've conquered those demons, literally.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times we are the obstacle as a parent in the way of our child. And until you can get that open statement that's like, Mom, Dad, stop. I have had Angelo, I told you the story about when we went to visit a doctor and he had to get blood work. And I'm like, oh God, okay, are you all right? Are you okay? Are you okay? Are you all right? Andrew, you're going to be crying. 100%. And I'm exuding all this anxiety.
Yeah.
And I'm expecting for him to sit there and just be like, let's go. Right?
Right.
So finally I put the letterboard up and he's like, Mom, stop, sit down. I got this. Literally, like, enough. He sat there, he's like, just stop, man. Sits, ding, done, boom, whatever. Now, then he got dizzy afterwards. He had to lay down but I would have never known that. I would have dragged him out of the room right after he got the blood and he would have been all.
Right.
He's like, I feel a little lightheaded. I don't feel so good.
Yeah.
So those are the instances where I guess what I'm saying is I'm worrying about him giving the blood.
Right.
And really all these years after he gives blood, he gets lightheaded and was never able to tell me. So that was the concern, of that we kind of had that. That's what I should have been concerned with, is the aftermath of it, but would have never known that. Mm-hmm. So just having those opportunities, I guess, to just kind of self-reflect as a parent and seeing, how am I getting in the way? How am I creating these loops? And how can I stop? You know?
Yeah.
It could be as simple as like, oh, we can never go to Chuck E. Cheese or drive by Chuck E. Cheese unless we go inside Chuck E. Cheese. I'm going to tell you, drive by that Chuck E. Cheese and go home.
That is straight from a mom's mouth. Andrew is very regulated. He's amazing. Very open communicator, has been to Congress. And so you're hearing this from a successful mom. And sometimes it might take time. Maybe you just enter the parking lot.
Right.
And then you don't go all the way by Chuck E. Cheese the first time.
Right.
And you let your child know, hey, we're going to get through this together.
Yeah.
But we're not going to let Chuck E. Cheese
rule our life.
That's it.
We got to go all the way 2 miles out of the way, because if we drove by Chuck E. Cheese, it's going to be a whole problem. No, we ain't doing
That's it.
That.
And let me tell you something. These children or individuals do not want you doing it either.
No.
They don't. They're like, listen, I'm hungry. 2 miles out of the way is a bother for me. Just drive by Chuck E. Cheese. So because they can't tell us, you know, we're kind of giving some examples from the insides of our own children's heads, but you know, redirect some choices, give them a little bit less pattern, right, with more purpose.
Right.
So make sure that you're explaining these
and communicating that. Hey,
yes,
listen, dude, we're going to go drive past Chuck E. Cheese. And I know it's going to create some feelings in you, but when we get home, we're going to get over that obstacle. We're going to move past it, because you're going to be able to break this loop. That's it.
Yes.
And having to just go through some of those triggering or traumatic emotions. And it's all within, I guess, realistic expectations. You know, I mean, if you know it's a stage 5 going to fall apart.
Right. Well, literally, then you just drive down the street.
That's it. Yeah.
And then you go in the parking lot.
Yeah.
And this kind of brings me to what Josh said, because I asked Josh this week, is there anything you'd like to add to the podcast? You know, we have a very specific podcast today about breaking loops and stimulation. And he said, tiny steps might be necessary to change the direction of movement towards purposeful, intentional sequencing. To change direction will take the proper motor coaching. So where he's in a loop to go, not Josh necessarily, but going back to the story, 2 miles outside the perimeter, we might have to take him literally a centimeter inside the perimeter, 2 centimeters inside the perimeter, 3 centimeters with the proper coaching. And that may look like this, you know, okay, I need you to just sit back, feel your hips into the car seat, see that you're secure, feel your seatbelts on your chest, give them some stimulation and input around where they are. Then, you know, I need you to take a deep breath. We're going to go 1 centimeter in and 1 centimeter out. Now, when we get home, if you're overstimulated and you're not getting out of the car, we're going to coach the body. We're not going to say, come on, we said we were going to do this. Let's go. Let's go. I mean, we that's what we're cheering on our child. And our child.
We're not going to come on, let's go.
Yeah,
let's go.
I mean,
come on, get out, come on.
But and it might just be like, come on, sweetie, let's go. And we're so excited and we're so okay and so patient, right? But the truth be told is what they really need is the patience.
Yes, 100%.
But the breakdown, because again, it's the sequencing that Josh mentioned.
Right.
Purposeful, intentional sequencing, which means you're going to have to help me get through to the next level by coaching my legs out of the car. Reach those legs up, bend those knees, pull those legs around, look for the ground outside the car, keep those legs, push your hips forward. If you need to give them some input by holding their hand, you can do that for a little bit until they don't need that anymore. And then remember, initiate forward, get past that line, initiate past that plane. They're dealing with a lot of things through their sensory system that we don't even really comprehend.
Right. And one of the things that Angelo had said to me really more recently was, I have so many people discussing what my problems are and never, ever, one, talking to me about how can we help you get through that, or even offering me a solution. You're just always talking about the problem. So how does that offer any type of beneficial aspects at all to me? I'm paraphrasing. I'm giving you the overview. Yeah. And I think that that's really, really what the most important thing is being able to, if your child's not open, I fully understand you can't, get that input, but being able to understand that, let's try this, or let's move out of this box a little bit so that we can, instead of constantly talking about what they can't do, what they won't do, it's defeating.
Yeah. Yeah. And the box is defeating too. Because the world is not a box and our children are going to be subject to being outside of the box, as they should be. I mean, they deserve that right. That's why we have this podcast. This is freedom for the speechless. They deserve to feel as though they have, boundaries within themselves the way we do. They can't feel that safety yet. So that's why we want to help to create that. One of the things that I wanted to really stress on was kind of that relationship we need to build as a communication regulation partner with our individual, whether we're on letterboards, whether we're open, whether we're not open. This is a sensory system issue. So if we can build a relationship with that sensory system and just kind of when, it's kind of like, when. Now look, sometimes I know she doesn't want this touch. Sometimes I know, and I'm not going to touch her. Okay. Sometimes I know she can only handle so much that day, right? Sometimes I know this girl, she needs it. She's like, and she's all over me, Maria, and so that's that relationship between our sensory systems of, what today does she need as, my partner to run business and to collaborate with and to have good energy and to feel good. And, and that's what we're doing with these guys. We're not, trying to fix them. We're not, a lot of the times, I'm going to tell you the truth, they fix me. Is that not the truth?
No, it's 100% the truth. Yes, 100%. Yeah. Fantastic. Absolutely.
Okay. So,
somebody stop me. Somebody put a muzzle on me.
No, but see, that's the truth. We don't want to do that. And, do you see though how automatically you were able to express how you felt about falling into that loop?
Yes.
So, they can't express that, but that's what they're saying. They're like, can somebody put a muzzle on me, please? Now, they do not want a physical muzzle. Do not ever do that.
No.
Please do not ever do that.
Well, I said last week how Angela was like, somebody smash this iPad, burn it, get rid of it. But then I said, okay, so I'm going to do that. What's going to happen? He's like, yeah, I know. You can't do that.
No.
But please help me to get to where I'm at. And I will say that we've really put perimeters around his iPad. And my husband and I have noticed a lot of times he's just sitting with the iPad like up against him. He's holding it like a security blanket. So that's my next step is like, all right, you don't need to hold that thing.
Yeah. Unless
you really want to watch something. Otherwise, we're just using battery.
Right. Truth. So, that's kind of the loop. Let's just really quickly touch on a stimulation, because this is something that maybe we don't want to stop all the time, where a loop is something that we definitely do not want to create in a negative way. But what about a stim? What about a stimulation? Tell me some stories about that.
So I know last week I talked about how he has a lot of verbal stims. And if he just says if he says it and he's done, I let it ride.
Yeah.
If we're in a situation where it's high stress, I let it, and he's verbally stimming and stimming and stimming, I let it go. But there's instances where it's totally quiet. The environment really isn't a chaotic environment for him, and he's going and going and going. So now, like, if he says a script, I go, what movie is that from? And automatically he goes, no. I go, no, what movie is that from? And then he'll tell me what movie it's from, and he stops it because I broke that loop.
Right.
Not every individual has the verbal capacity to do that. I understand that. But that was my way of being able to do that with him. Another thing is,
real quick before we move on from that, so somebody that might not have the verbal capacity, could you recommend a different way of approaching that?
I don't know. I'm going to be honest, because a lot of what I do is like trial and error.
Okay.
Like,
so I'll give you, I was going to throw something out there after anyways, but I wanted to hear from you first. It's hard because it's true. It's, I deal with multiple profiles as a practitioner. So I do kind of see a little bit of this. So, if you aren't able to get that response, maybe you can give that response. Maybe we can change the movie scene.
Right.
And say, love
Sometimes
that
I have
movie.
no clue what movie it is.
And then we just move on. That's the truth.
Like,
right?
I really want to know, what movie are you thinking about?
Yeah, no, totally. But, so, changing the movie, changing the environment. I love that movie series. Tell me, I'm going to talk about art today. And just talk. They love to hear. They love to listen.
Yeah.
I mean, just because, like I said in a few podcasts ago, like just because there's not words in a space, does not mean there's not communication, which goes back to that sensory regulation partner,
right?
And understanding their sensory need and load. They may need something to script, have them, try to repeat something differently, like you said. But I did love that, just bring it out, right. Change it from the same line over and over to the same line to what movie.
Right.
And if we know that movie, we give the movie, and then we can continue to change it.
If I know the whole line, because I do know a lot of the movie lines he says, but if he's just like saying one piece of it, I'll say the whole thing. And he looks at me and he goes, no. And I'll say it again.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll say it again. Yeah. And then he's like, okay, I'm done.
Okay.
So you broke my loop.
This is one of my favorite sayings, and I'm so glad because I'm making a t-shirt, okay? Throw your loop for a loop.
Yeah.
That's what you did. You did it.
Yeah.
You threw his loop for a loop.
Yeah.
So we can do that. We can change the direction of a pattern, and we can throw the loop for a loop. Will it overstimulate? Possibly. So again, advice from Josh: do it slowly, do it with patience, do it with care, and do it with that sensory communication
100%.
Regulation partner.
I can't stop my brain.
Right? It happens. It's okay. I love it. The truth is, we are talking 100% truth.
100%.
And I mean, it's
fantastic.
Totally good at this point. It really is. So really just coaching the yes instead of coaching the no, coaching the way the body moves as opposed to coaching the command and the demand, but instead releasing that motor demand and helping them with that sequence.
Yeah. And so, I mean, if your child has to jump up and down, you let them jump up and down. If they have to flap their hands, you let them flap their hands. If they have to, if they have to walk in a circle, to calm down, then let them. It's when it is. So usually a stim, it'll happen and then you'll see a release. You'll see the calm. A loop, it doesn't stop until you stop it.
Right.
That's the difference. So I think sometimes I think just between Kate, reaching out to Katie or I and getting that input of, hey, my child's engaging in this behavior. I'm not quite sure if this is a stim or this is a loop, or, could you watch a video?
Comment below.
100%.
Comment below. This is what we're here for, and I bet you'll help other people, we want to hear from you. This is a community, this is freedom.
Yeah.
Here, this is freedom.
Yeah.
And we want to hear from you. So every child needs a unique and patient and understanding, unique approach. That's the key to all of it.
Yeah.
So nothing we said here might be what you're dealing with.
Yes.
But we'd love to hear it. Maybe we don't know, but there's another person that's watching that can help us with that, you know? And that's what we're all here for. We need to build that community of truth, presuming competence that our child doesn't want to be in a loop. It does lead to injurious and self-injurious behaviors and frustration in some children. Or just a feeling of insanity, as opposed to, sometimes we think they're angry or frustrated, but really it's just, break me out. Whatever road I got to get down to get out of that loop, I'm going to get down that road. And if it doesn't look pretty to you, I'm sorry, but please be patient with me and understand that I was just stuck in insanity. I was going in a circle over and over and over and over and over. And if I come out like this or like this, or, please grab me and say, you're safe. You're safe. It's safe. It's safe. Not stop, settle down. Now you just relax. Do you know nobody wants
That's
to hear
how she
that.
has to talk to me sometimes.
I know, but she does not want to hear it.
I don't always listen. No.
So our call to action this week before we go is try implementing some of these strategies this week. If you have a non-speaking individual or praxic individual, is what we're talking about, then try those strategies at home with them. If not, identify the habit. We've both identified a habit
That you as a parent have, or your child.
Yes.
Or both.
Or both.
It's not just your child.
And understand that it takes 21 days to break a habit.
Yep.
And work on the next 21 days. Make yourself a chart, put a little checklist, and see just how hard it is at the beginning and easy it is at the end. I mean, it's pretty simple. And as a parent, don't get stuck in your child's loop. Don't.
Right. The paradigm shift, shifting
That's
how
it.
you're interacting,
yes,
is going to cause you're going to see bumps in the road, but shifting how you interact with your child, you're going to see a difference.
That's it.
You're going to see a difference.
That's it.
But it's every day, all day, chiseling at it little by little, and one day you're like, wow, that's gone. And I've had those moments where I can't even identify. I'm going to come back next week. Maybe I got to think on it.
Okay.
But I've had those moments where I've been sitting in the chair, watching TV, and Angelo's sitting there watching TV, and I'm like, wow, he doesn't do ba anymore. It just like hits you.
Yeah.
He can sit and watch a movie.
That's it.
He didn't used to be.
That's amazing.
You know what I mean? Like he used to be. They're squirrely. All little kids are. You know. But he'll sit and watch a movie now. You know.
Whereas before we just thought he didn't want to.
Right.
Oh, they don't like that movie.
Yeah.
Oh no. Yeah. So great. So I love it. We're gonna see you guys next week. And until then, God bless.
God bless.